Здравствуйте, друзья, и ну что ж, вы снова на моем канале, и с вами снова я, Данил, ну или Усатый, назвать как хотите. И снова начинаем, это второе видео по The Stanley Parabl, и сейчас в прошлой серии я читал субтитры, в этой же серии я не буду их читать. И в прошлой серии также я перевел то, что там, первую кат-сцену, я перевел ее вам. Но если вы хотите и, так скажем, не доверяете моему переводу, сейчас посмотрим. Потому что игра, как я заметил, она начинается каждый раз сначала. Смотрим. Лоадинг, да. Is never. Never. Я не помню, что такое never. Честно. Я не помню, что такое. Never. Так. У меня уже загрузка как минимум 1 минуту идет. Надеюсь, вы не слышите телевизор?
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on the keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-winning, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
И как вы помните, точнее, в прошлой серии тут был коридор, сейчас же этого коридора нету. То есть одну из кат-сцен, видимо, мы немножко пропустили, но надеюсь, она повторится. И в прошлой серии я читал, опять же повторяюсь, в этой серии я не буду читать. Посмотрим, как будет лучше.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Упс, я ничего не сделал. Вот видите, какой у меня слабый компьютер, даже здесь подлагивает. Мне сказали то, что один человек сказал то, что лучше проверять эти компьютеры, и потому что с этими компьютерами связана одна из консолок. Ой, извините, только начал играть, сразу мне звонят, простите. Так, и все, я поговорил, и продолжаем. Давайте сейчас будем слушаться этого, буквально никуда не будем сворачивать. Оригинальную кат-сцену. Ну ладно. Так.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Я в полсерии там сидел. Так. Ой, слушайте, мне опять звонят, извините. Да блин, что ж такое, уже второй раз позвонили. И сейчас давайте пойдем. Нет, диктор, да твою ж дивизию, извините еще раз. И ну что ж, я выключил нафиг все телефоны. Все, пошлите дальше, потому что реально не могу никак заснять эту, блин, вторую серию про Стэнли. Что ж, пошлите вниз, не послушаемся этого диктора, мы будем плохими мальчиками, мы будем плохим Стэнли. Знаете, мы, наверное, вон там будем спать после этого.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did
Извините еще раз. Ужасно непутевая серия.
And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Нас убили.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
Теперь мы играем за Мариэлла.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Это мы по городу крутились, что ли? Вот это пока мы вот это все крутились, это все был город? Странно. И ну что ж, мы опять начинаем. Пошлите. И не будем этого фига
All of his
слушать.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Во. А вот это, по-моему, мне говорил подписчик.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
А, пофиг.
This was
Go
not the
вправо.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Любоваться? Не хочу я любоваться.
Yes, truly a
Плохая
room
комната.
worth
Мне она не
admiring.
нравится.
But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on
А
track.
ни хрена. Я сюда хочу. Вот так вот тебе. Опять лоадинг.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No, not the right.
Трололо.
Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a
Ну
minute,
ты
please?
тролль.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
Спойлер.
Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay. From the top.
Мне нравится этот мужик. Позитивненький.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Вау. Ух ты. Я на стол, я забрался на стол. Ух ты. Что, я могу что-нибудь сделать? Во. Вай. Ва. Это баг? Это баг? Интересно. Я могу в окно залезть? Давай. Блин, спустился нечаянно. Подождите, мне интересно, я могу забраться на окно? Как я тут раз на стул залез, а? Давай, залезай на стул. You can't jump. А, это что-то только ради типа ачивки. И все? Я больше теперь... А, во. Вот, давай. You can jump. You can jump. Давай, you can jump. You can jump. Ну давай. Что за стол кривой, а? Давай, Стэнли, ты сможешь. Блин, что ты такой жирный, а? Сколько у тебя килограммов, а? Давай. Ты жирный. Ты залезешь? Я чувствую, там что-то есть. Нутром чую. Фу, Стэнли, давай. Ай, god damn it. Вот, ну тут хотя бы нормально начал забираться. Я чувствую, что там что-то есть. Давай. You, Стэнли, давай. You can jump. You can jump. Really? Серьезно? Давай. Оп. Holy fuck. Мы не можем прыгать, но мы умеем приседать. Давай. Оп. Давай, оба. Давай. God damn it. Вот god damn it. Давай, чертов Стэнли. Блин, какой ты жирный. О. Давай. Чё ты дальше лезть-то не хочешь? Упорзи. Он на этот стул... Ладно. Я к тебе вернусь, стул. Я найду твою тайну. Я решу тайну этого стула. Давайте опять. Компьютеры. Я к вам иду. Ай. О, в прошлый раз он там. Тырк. Что-то нету ничего. Может, я тут пропустил компьютер? Ладно, что мы долго в этой локации уже ходим. Пошлите. Компьютер. Нету компьютера. Компьютер. Спорим, вот эти компьютеры мощнее моего. Ну-ка.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over completely fresh.
Fail.
Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Ладно. Буду искать историю. Ой, там страшно. Ладно. Ищем историю, друзья. История, ты тут? История.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Ага, ладно. Надеюсь, я в 40 минут не выйду. Я боюсь, что я выйду в 40 минут. Ладно, давайте еще.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Истории 2, например.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed the memo.
Главное смотреть на компьютере.
Okay,
Так.
it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Ладно, го искать. Эти подлаги мне, если честно, не очень нравятся. Ой.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Обратно, ладно. Ладно. Ладно.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations!
Мы выиграли.
I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off. So, good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Да. Этот парень никак не может определиться. Лоадинг. Давайте лоадинг. О! Что это за полосочка?
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parabl adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Пошли по полоске. Идемте по полоске. Ага. История, видимо, туда. История про Стэнли. Мы идем за тобой.
See? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa, 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 whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
О! Здесь он загорячий.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Здесь эта музыка закопирайчена. Папоротник. Папоротник. Да, обычный папоротник. Ну ладно, идемте дальше. Музыку включи. Под нее так весело.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No, no. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parabl, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Полоска.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it.
Fire.
Restart.
Да. опять по полосе идти, да? У меня уже прошло время на таймере, но давайте еще вот чуть-чуть вот побегаем. Давайте. Еще оба за этой полоской походим. Ну, опять же, компьютеры. Может, не будем их?
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Ну, идемте. Идемте.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
Ну ладно, пошли.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Ладно, не обращаем на нее внимания. Пока.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere at the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Did that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Ой, что это был за звук? Это был ужасно. Вышел в 30 минут как минимум. И вот, как я вам говорил, тут очень много концовок. У каждого там свои, по-моему, кажется. Ну что ж, будем их искать. Одну, блин, мне проспойлерили, так скажем. Ну это ладно. Но, пожалуйста, не спойлерите мне ВКонтакте. Не спойлерите. Ладно, всем спасибо за просмотр. Всем спасибо. И я расскажу анекдот. Как сделать, чтобы европеец думал? Нужно посадить его в круглую комнату и сказать то, что круассан лежит в углу. Подумайте почему. Подумайте. Подумайте над этой шуткой. Ладно, всем спасибо. До свидания. Ждите следующей серии. Ой.